Hi, this is Greg Eisenberg with Symmetry Sports Massage. You are now watching GoTarryn TV.
Alright folks, happy Thursday, April 30th, and welcome to GoTarryn TV. This is our week Skype call here, and as you can see side by side there is Greg Eisenberg. He's the owner of Symmetry Sports Massage. Greg, thank you so much for coming on today on our video blog here.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be invited.
That's great. Well, let's catch everybody up to speed, how we know each other, and again, this is the very first time that you and I are chatting with each other, Greg. And I think this is going to be terrific. I'm really looking forward to speaking to you. We have a lot in common. And before we jump into everything, I'm going to tell the folks out there that Greg and I were linked up on LinkedIn and also on Facebook. And I'm one of the guys who doesn't use my Facebook and LinkedIn, I guess, as much as I should, besides promoting like these video blogs and such. So I got a message from you, and we connected there, and then we set this up. And I'm so happy that we got this, working where we can finally get you on here, because I really wanted to have you on. You're actually our very first guest, who is a massage therapist, for one, offering massage therapy. And also with what I do, with working with, I'm a personal trainer, so I deal with a lot of folks who are always looking for a massage therapist or asking questions about, do you think massage helps, and, this and that. And so this will be great. I'm really happy that we linked up, because now I've got someone that they can go to. I've got your contact information, which we'll get at the end of the video blog. But let's start out, Greg. If I could, please tell the folks out there your brand, your company name, a little bit about your experience and history, and where you're from. Basically an introduction of who you are and your company, please.
Sure. Again, the name of the company is Symmetry Sports Massage. I primarily focus on sports and orthopedic soft tissue massage therapy. Per request, I do some rest and relaxation work, which is not very often. I really focus on assessment of my clients to determine the source and origin of any particular pain or discomfort, whether it may come from a trauma per car accident, slip and fall accident, or sports injury. I also help promote preventative care to reduce the potential for sports injuries. One of the focuses that I like to try to hang my hat on, I guess I would say, is to forward or suggest homework to my clients. My ultimate goal is for them not to need me anymore. So I want to get them as pain-free as possible, give them stretching and or strengthening exercises, so that way they can maintain themselves and maybe use me more in a maintenance type of a way as opposed to a help me kind of a way.
Oh, I love that. Greg, I was researching your website earlier this week, and I made some notes, and I wanted to ask you, first of all, tell us about the peeling the onion technique, if you will.
Peeling the onion. I'm not sure if that came from my own mind or I stole it somewhere. Not quite sure. But I've had some comments per that technique, if you will. To my experiences, I've been worked on by other therapists, and feedback I've gotten from clients that have been worked on by other therapists. A lot of times, therapists might put the pedal to the metal and just get in there and crank it out and kind of produce some pain and discomfort, which is not really an issue for me. I think a little soreness the next day is a good thing. Kind of promotes that something actually happened. But bruising the day 2-3 days after, I don't think is a good thing. It does promote, I think, further traumas to the tissues and related musculoskeletal areas of the body. To get to your question, the peel the onion is I function in a little bit more of a slower kind of a way, where I will peel the onion and I'll work through different layers of the tissue, which promotes more relaxation and a chilling effect for my clients, so they're not in sort of a defensive mode, especially if they're new clients of mine and don't really know the kind of work that I do. Have been with me before, but I just slowly work through the layers to get to the depths that I believe I need to get to reach the goals that I'm trying to get to, depending on the condition that the client has.
I really like that, and that's the first time I've ever heard that technique. But you know, you could really relate that to fitness and personal training, because a lot of my clients that I work with, after thinking about it while you were just telling me what that means, I don't just jump on a client like the first time I meet them and say, "Come on, let's go. My goal is make you throw up, and let's see if we can just do crazy stuff, do a bunch of box jumps, lunges." But rather, most of my clients, I would say probably about 95% of them, I kind of guide them, hold them by the hand, and say, "Today we're going to go in baby steps and take little baby steps." And that's almost sounds very similar to what your technique is. So that's pretty cool. I like that, the peel the onion. I got to remember that for future clients. That's really, really good. I like that.
A little quick follow-up to that. Yeah. Primarily, the first time I work on someone, again, don't know how they will respond to the kind of work that I do. Mm-hmm. I do approach them in a more moderate type of a manner, unless they guide me into producing more pressure in what I do. Mm-hmm. And I do really believe in communication throughout treatments, whether it's one time, a little plan that we may feel may be appropriate to what they do. Mm-hmm. But I do like to follow up via text or phone call, at least after the first session, to see how they feel, to get feedback from them and how they responded to the work. Again, primarily looking for pain relief, any discomfort that they may have gotten from me in terms of some soreness, really any kind of feedback, so I could determine next time I see them whether or not I didn't work quite deep enough on that first go-round, because again, I've never met them before, don't know their personality, don't know how they will receive the kind of work that I do. So I really feel it's very important to get feedback from my clients, at least after the first time, as we're starting to build a therapeutic relationship.
That's really good, Greg. That's very, for me, you know, I don't really hear that a lot from massage therapists. Usually when I think of somebody who's offering massage therapy, you see them maybe one time and then, you know, that's it. But for you to actually follow up with them and, you know, take notes and keep it sounds like you almost do like a profile of some sort on them. I think that's going above and beyond, which I think a lot of people would really appreciate. So that's fantastic, Greg. How about, can you tell the folks out there what brought you into massage therapy? And when you answer that too, I had made note of on your website there was a story that you gave about it seemed like being in an auto accident, or if you could delve a little bit into that. I was very curious about that. If you don't mind telling the people what brought you to where you're at now and how you transitioned into your profession.
I was raised in North Miami Beach, Florida, and back in 1981.
Okay.
I was driving my car probably about 55 miles an hour, the speed limit for sure, and got hit by a drunk driver, and he just pulled out of the bar. I could envision this to this day, exactly what happened. Didn't know he was drunk or drinking at the time, and hit me about as head-on as you can get, and I went about 55 miles an hour to literally bouncing backwards in a nanosecond. Excuse me. Lucky for me, I actually walked out of the accident, helped the gentleman out of his car, and then fast forward to about a year after that point, I started having problems turning my neck, pinched nerves, major repercussions from whiplash, and major migraine headaches that got me. The worst that I recall was, not to get too graphic, but 5 hours in the bathroom, just barfing my brains out. Couldn't get up 10 feet to get back into bed and nurse myself to sleep. So at that point is where I started looking for, what do I do to try to relieve this, the muscular discomfort and the pain and the headaches. And back then in the 80s, the type of work that I do now really was kind of hard to find, very specific scientific format of what I do now. Then I was just hoping, let me get somebody can crank in there and just give me some relief, and been out of chiropractors' offices, different massage therapists, and found through deep tissue massage, stretching and strengthening exercises, and decades, finally got that to go away. So now fast forward to about 2009, where I'm sure we all can remember the lovely boom in the economy, reverse boom in the economy, and retail and everything just went to the tank. And I was in the wholesale retail industry and lost my job. And it was an industry I was trying to get out of for some time, but I knew it well. It took good care of me, and stuck around there a little bit longer than I really wanted to. And as I mentioned, lost my job. So huddled around with myself for a few months, trying to determine what I wanted to do. Wanted to sort of reinvent myself with a new career, and started thinking about this process that I just mentioned to you that I went through with my body. And love to meet people, love to help people, very compassionate to people's issues, whatever they may be, whether it's in reference to my world or what I do now, or other worldly dilemmas people may have. And thought, wow, I might try to get on the other side of the table and see if I can help in that manner. And went to school. It was about a year program, and thought my focus and interest would be kind of sports orthopedic work. Had an open mind into spa. And as soon as I got to class, the mind closed in reference to spa, and really was into the more the functionality of how the body moves and works, and wanted to help in that more sporting, orthopedic type of environment.
That's awesome.
And then here we are today.
Yeah, here we are. So how long ago was that, roughly about?
When I made that career change?
Exactly, yeah.
I was in school for the year of 2011.
Very cool.
So most of 2011, and then I started my own business, opened up a clinic in Roswell, and long story, how the dynamics there worked, and it really didn't work out as a business relationship with my business partner. I went on my own, started this company. I'm working out of 2 different locations that I guess we'll talk about a little bit later into the podcast. And having a freaking blast. Again, I love meeting different people all day long. Hopefully they like what I do and become regular clients of mine. And if I see them once and I did a good job and never see them again, I'm happy with that too.
That's awesome. Here we are, like, interviewing you. It sounds like I'm interviewing myself. There's so many commonalities that we have. Everything you just described, there's eerie similarities between what brought you to what you're doing, what brought me to what I'm doing. 'Cause a lot of my video fans will know that I kind of stumbled upon what I'm doing, but I love it also. Once you find out what you want to do, it's your passion. It was like you were meant to be there. So it's amazing what everything led up to that point, to where you're at. How did you come up with the name Symmetry Sports Massage, by the way?
Movement. Symmetry, homeostasis, full balance within the body. Pretty simple as that. I just brainstormed. It really didn't take me very long, and it flowed off the tongue and was good to go.
Well, I like it a lot because a lot of my clients, especially newer ones, will tell me, hey, Tarryn, my right arm's a lot stronger than my left arm, or I noticed that I'm always getting a pain in my left knee whenever, and I use the word symmetry a lot in my work, and a lot of my exercises I do with my clients in program design are based upon functionality, trying to build balance. So I think that there's a lot hand in hand between what you do versus what I do. And I could see a very good synergistic relationship because, again, I have a lot of clients who would be asking for, the sports-related type massage that you offer. So I've got several automatically I'm going to be sending your way that I could think of. So I'm really excited. Absolutely. In fact, what I'm probably going to do is take this video blog and email it to them. That's a great way for them to, introduce you and watch this video so they can just learn about it. Why don't we? I'll tell you what. Why don't we talk about the locations real quick, if you don't mind? You'd mentioned Roswell. For the folks who are watching right now, if they're in the Greater Atlanta area, how can they come find you? Where are you located at?
One of the facilities that I function out of is on Powers Ferry Road in Marietta.
Okay.
Kind of smack in between I-285 and Windy Hill.
Yep. Okay.
And for people that don't know where Powers Ferry is, it is pretty close to the 285 I-75 exchange.
Yeah.
And then the other facility that I function out of will be in North Roswell, Southern Alpharetta. For people that might know where the silos are, it is just off the intersection of Crabapple Road and Arnold Mill Road.
Okay. Okay. Good. Let me ask.
And then I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I also travel. I do have some clients that just don't want to get in the car, and I pretty much service in-home care treatments for almost every suburb north of Atlanta.
That was going to be my next question. You're reading my mind before I can ask it, so that's great. Okay, so that's good. And we'll get to your contact information too here. Let me ask you about this, because when they go to your website, I saw your services tab, and there was a lot of different massages that, you touched on it in the first part of the blog here on what they can expect. So can you tell the people out there that are watching, can you tell them all the services that you provide, and then maybe just a little bit, if you could touch on each and every one of them, on what to expect if they ask for one of the different services that you have?
To remember all of them might be kind of tough. There are a lot. Okay. But how I do approach my clients, some people do want some full body work.
Okay.
With some focus on their concerns or conditions when they come into the office. And I will, do like a full body muscle flush. Deep. I don't really like the term deep tissue very much because it does have a wide, potentially wide definition. But flush out the old blood and toxins and just let new, regenerated, oxygenated, nutritious blood back into the body. Mm-hmm. And then I will focus on areas of concern, whether it's a rotator cuff, a piriformis syndrome, which is in the glutes that could present similar symptoms like sciatica, discomfort, pain, numbness down the buttocks, down the hamstring, down to the knee, down to the foot. Or I go in and, if it's more of a concerning condition where it's a little bit more in-depth, I might focus strictly on the problem at hand. Again, whether it's rotator cuff. There's a term called nerve crush, where through different areas within an extremity, an arm or a leg, nerves can be entrapped by either bony structures or tissue, contractile tissue, that can bring symptoms of numbness, tingling, whether again partially down the arm, down to the hand, partially down the leg, down to the foot. Rotator cuff I mentioned, whiplash I mentioned about what I had to live with, tendinitis, repetitive stress syndrome, which is a condition that can take years to rear its ugly head, which is really what it sounds like. Similar movements within the body that over time start to wear and tear can cause buildup scar tissue in certain regions, can cause joint concerns within the selected area or the area of concern. TMJ work that I do, go inside the mouth or not, depending on the client's preferences. Mm-hmm. Thoracic outlet syndrome is a condition pertaining to brachial plexus of nerves, where the nerves coming out of the lateral sides of the neck funnel into the upper chest and into the arm. And again, bony structures, vertebrae, highly contracted chest tissue, pec minor, can entrap the nerves, again, feeling or giving the feeling of pain, aches, tingling, numbness down the arm. Mm-hmm. Talked about sciatica and piriformis. Both of those are conditions. Sciatica primarily stemming from the lower back, possibly into the glutes. Mm-hmm. Piriformis really starts in the glutes. Two different syndromes, often confused between doctors and clients. Knee issues, IT band issues, plantar fasciitis, the bottom of the foot, range of motion for all joints within the body. I would have to start thinking about some others, but really, whatever you could think of, a lot of stuff I do is postural, where somebody that sits at a desk all day looking down at the computer and just reversing the natural curves in their back, losing the curves in their neck, again promoting highly contracted frontal muscles, stretching out the muscles in the back. So in a situation like that, the pain is usually upper back of the neck. Mm-hmm. The origin of the problem is in the front. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, other than a traumatic injury, again, whether it's a car accident, slip and fall, something like that, usually where the pain is not where the origin of the problem is. Okay. And one of the things I try to do in my assessments with my client, a lot of people come in, I'm really tight, my hamstrings are really tight, need to stretch them out. and I try to educate them as best as I can on how the body works. And one thing that I've noticed that most people never really thought about or have never been exposed to is there's two different kinds of tightness. There is and you may be aware of this with what you do, there is a contracted, highly contracted hypertonic tightness where the muscle's too tight, too strong, and too short, versus the muscle, if you use the analogy of a rubber band and stretching a rubber band out, it gets tighter. That's another kind of tightness, but that's from being too long, too stretched, and too weak. So one of my goals in reference to the homework that I mentioned earlier is to designate those two functions within their body, opposing muscle groups, and let them know this is what you want to strengthen, this is what you want to loosen by stretching to get a more appropriate balance within those two muscle groups, which then affect the joints that those muscles are attached to.
Wow.
And if you have that imbalance, the joints that those muscles are attached to could end up with some unfortunate conditions. It can promote arthritis and another host of concerns as well.
Wow, unbelievable. If you don't mind me asking, Greg, how are you doing after the injury and, from years back? Like, did you make a full recovery, I assume, or?
I made a full recovery until I got into this industry, actually, because I'm bent. Well, it's just a postural thing for me. So I'm bent over, looking down, and have to just stay focused with my body mechanics, so I don't further extend my back and sort of reintegrate some of the problems that I had and recovered from. But to answer your question, I did make a full recovery. Now I just need to treat myself or have another therapist help me out to make sure I don't slip backwards, so to speak.
That's awesome. Well, what you just said, a lot of my viewers realize that I myself have a personal trainer that I see twice a week, and a lot of people, who aren't in the fitness industry kind of like look at that and confused, like, why would the trainer need a trainer? But you just answered it beautifully right there. How about the headaches? Do you still get the headaches too?
Not to the extent or the duration. It used to be like clockwork, 1 to twice a month. And now it's just really spikes from, again, postural issues or potentially personal stress issues that I'm sure we all go through, which is another little comment I'd love to talk about real quick is mental stress from, finances, work, things that we all live with every day is entirely, totally translated into the musculoskeletal system and can promote symptoms of mostly upper back, posterior neck, between the shoulder blades, kind of pain and discomfort.
Oh, certainly, yeah. Well, tell me, Greg, what do you find most rewarding about what you do, too? Like, at the end of the day, what do you love most about, Symmetry Sports Massage?
The smiles on my clients' faces when they leave in a different place than hopefully that they leave in a different place from the way they got there. And again, sometimes it could be a session, sometimes it may take a few sessions, depending on the condition. I kind of suggest the time frame that I would like to see them back. I kind of use a term, again, that I'm not saying that I established out of my own brain, muscle momentum, where I would like to see a client, again, depending, if they're in a corrective recovery place, I usually would like to see them back within a 4 to 7 day period of time, maybe just for one more session, maybe for 3 to 4 more sessions, again, depending on the case. So that way they could bring the benefits of the preceding session with them to the next and get better, as opposed to coming back in a month and we're starting from square one again.
Excellent. Very good.
And again, sorry to cut you off, but a big component to this is the homework. So if they do the strengthening and stretching exercises that I suggest, the benefits that they get from me will be totally much more beneficial.
Yeah.
And if they don't do that stretching and strengthening exercises, my work is totally minimized. So it's maximized if they do the homework, minimized if they don't.
Yeah, well, again, to repeat myself, I said this a few minutes ago. Again, I say that a lot to my clients. Like, I use the word homework almost to every client that I see, because I'm like, look, your homework is to go home and do your cardio, do your 20 minutes on the treadmill, before I see you, you better tell me you've drinking your water and eating right and healthy. And I'm sure that has a lot to do too. I'm sure you tell your clients about water intake and the importance
Absolutely.
of. That's great. I've really enjoyed this interview. This is the fastest 30 minutes. Just flew by so quickly. Greg, let's get a few things out there so the folks can realize how to get a hold of you. We've mentioned before your locations. We've also mentioned that you do in-home services depending on where they're located at. Can you tell the people the best ways via phone, email, Twitter, Facebook? How can they reach you? And when you do tell them all this, we're going to also, folks watching, post it on the screen after our video blog here. So in case we go too fast, try to grab a pen and paper, folks. And here goes Greg with the information for you.
Thanks. We had a little bit of a lag, so I lost you for a little bit. So if there's anything important prior to the contact info, please let me know. But my contact information website is symmetrysportsmassage.com. Telephone number 770-330-8835. Email would be greg@symmetrysportsmassage.com. I'd love to meet anybody that I could help, and I greatly appreciate the invitation with you on your blog, and would hope maybe we could sit down and have a cup of coffee and actually shake hands and meet sometime soon.
We're going to need to do that very soon. And again, we work in the same location. I primarily work at a Buckhead, but I'm a lot of times often, actually, just not to drag this all out, I used to live on Powers Ferry Road, right where you were describing. Powers Ferry Road and the Interstate North Parkway, I lived right there because I managed Coca-Cola fitness centers right in there. Their refreshments, corporate headquarters, I opened up their gym. Long story, but I'm very familiar with that area, so I'm often where your location is. So I'll come to you. Let's definitely sit down. I like your idea. Let's do lunch or coffee, and that way we can shake hands and officially meet in person. But I'm really happy we had the opportunity to meet one-on-one here for the very first time via video Skype. This is really good. So
again, thank you very much for the invitation, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Yeah, definitely, Greg. So again, folks, there you have it, the interview with Greg Eisenberg of Symmetry Sports Massage. And as we sign off here, as the screen's fading to black, here comes Greg's contact info one more time. Greg, thank you so much, and have a good evening.
You too. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Greg. All right, so that was Greg Eisenberg of Symmetry Sports Massage. Greg, thanks so much for coming on today's show, and everybody else, thank you for watching. And so you definitely want to check him out. There was the contact information right there, and make an appointment today when you get an opportunity. And so we'll hope to get him back on here very soon for a future video blog. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And hey, we had two awesome guests this week again on GoTarryn TV and via Skype. So it looks like we're going to be having even more next week lined up right here. You don't want to miss them. So until I see you guys next time, remember tomorrow's Friday Weekend Circle of Praise edition, so you don't want to miss that. I invite everybody to go to www.gotarryn.tv and bookmark that as a favorite to their web browser today, and tell 2 people when you get a chance also. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure to like GoTarryn on Facebook, subscribe to GoTarryn on YouTube, and follow GoTarryn on Twitter. And until I see you next time, remember, with GoTarryn Personal Training and Tarryn, the traveling trainer, the master of the personal training universe, it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life. Happy Thursday, everyone. So long.